You need to constantly reinvent yourself and make the people interested in whatever you're interested in.
There's this new series that I want to watch. I don't know why I love drug lord stuff. Why? Don't know.
And you've been trying to figure out what business to start. You don't need to look any further. This is it. You can start a school community.
When you have the voice, it's easy to leverage and transition into a business model, and people will follow you there.
If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppin'? Welcome, Nicky Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the business of online communities. Everything from community versus memberships, what platforms to be on, everything that you need to know. Also, the importance of goals and how they are your goals and not like the latest trends, the top influencers' goals, like just your goals. We're going to be talking about that. Creating a platform that sheds light on your own beliefs. A look into Pharrell's new Netflix series, Voices on Fire. And then we got a new style of the question of the week. You asked for it. And this is where you get to know a little bit more about us. Moose, how we feel about this episode?
Man, I'm super excited. Y'all won't believe what happened in the rare moments towards the end, but I'll let y'all check it out.
Let's get into this intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And of course, this episode is powered by Ecamm Live. Whether you're streaming, recording, podcasting, presenting, Ecamm can do it all. And they're working on some really, really dope stuff if you stream on Instagram Live. I can't say too much, but they're working on some really fire. They're always doing some new innovative stuff. Plus, if you do a lot of Zoom meetings, Google meetups, whatever it is, it makes you look professional, look amazing. Everything from video isolation, audio isolation, overlays, playing videos. Just get Ecamm. You hear us talk about it every week. Go to www.nickyandmoose.com/Ecamm. That's ECAMM for that 14-day trial.
Hey. Shout out
Moose.
to Ecamm yet again.
Yes, of course. How you feeling?
Man, feeling pretty good. Things are well. Had a pretty good week. Yeah, this week was pretty good. But not as crazy. Yeah, last couple of weeks have been pretty jam-packed. So this last week was pretty good. Well, this week, the week that you guys are listening of, this week, this is a good week.
This is a great week.
This is a good week. Yeah, and I started tapping into a new book. So I think I mentioned it once, saying that for anyone who's subscribed to Spotify Premium, you now can listen to audiobooks as part of your subscription. Right? Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you did. And it's made me think about it. And I'm like,
It's just nice to have everything in one place. You know, like I know maybe for some it's like I don't have the discipline to cut off music to get into audiobooks, etc. But I think it's a cool little feature, right? So anyway, I have been tapped into Patrick Bet-David's book. This one is called Your Next 5 Moves: The Art of Business Strategy. So I am about a little bit more than halfway through now, but I was really surprised to see how much time he spent talking about self-awareness. Like the beginning part of his book was strictly about self-awareness. Now, I understood the aspect of what he was going toward, but the part that I really resonated with was this idea of making sure that your goals are actually yours. Right. This is a time of the year where people are thinking about New Year's resolutions, maybe not so much New Year's resolutions, but they're definitely in the goal setting mode. But we also talked about this is a time where most people are giving up on their goals just because it could be not going according to plan or whatever the case may be. But he gave this example of some people are meant to be more present with their families. They don't want to make certain sacrifices. And that's not a bad thing because that's what's truly fulfilling for them. And maybe they're making a certain dollar amount and that's perfectly fine. But the issue is when that person tries to pursue the dreams of the person who wants to take over the world and become the next Elon Musk, and he's struggling to do that and wondering why it's not matching up. So it was a good reminder to really check your own goals and ask yourself, like, are my goals truly mine, or did I borrow them from someone on the internet who was talking about what they want to do or what they want their life to look like? And then you felt like, hey, that sounds like something I should be doing too, because you're pretty passionate about it. So I'm just going to go for it. So I think it was a good way for me to be reminded that you don't have to go after everything that your friends are going after, quite honestly. Like, I know we say the closest 5 people to you, et cetera, that's cool. But it's just a great reminder to say, make sure your goals are yours, because the quickest way to lose sight of your authenticity is to pursue goals that are somebody else's as your own. And then you realize, like, wait, I'm not fulfilled, even if, whether you're achieving them or not. In either case, you're not going to be fulfilled. So that was just a big lesson for me, and a really good reminder too, like to say, hey, just make sure you're keeping that front and center around. Your goals need to be yours because they're in alignment with what you want, with your value system, et cetera.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that goes based off, like, if you don't truly have direction, you're looking around, you're going to grab somebody else's direction.
That's good too. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, and I think also that's not that bad, because you have to go through some things to know what you honestly want. If you're just jumping into business, no true background, no understanding, and you're like, okay, I need to start making money. This person does this, let me do this. Okay, cool. That's why some people become serial entrepreneurs, and then they realize, it's not really it. This laundromat is a little bit too boring for me. Never mind.
Yeah. Now I'm convinced the only bad thing to do, honestly, is doing nothing. That's like the only bad thing to do, because it's like you're just sitting there. You're not exploring. You're not gaining any lessons. You're not figuring out what you don't like. But if you don't know what you want, it's just as good to realize the things that you don't want as it is to get closer to the things that you do want. But to think that it's going to come to you magically as you just sit there scrolling, chilling, watching Netflix, it doesn't happen. You have to get out there and wrestle a little bit with some certain concepts to see, all right, after the new car smell wears off, am I still into this thing, or is it time to make a move? Am I questioning my presence here? So yeah, that's a good way to look at it too. Like, don't just wait. Like, get engaged in something.
You're gonna get it wrong half the time. Then one time it's gonna get it right and be like, oh, okay, here we go.
Let's mix up. Yeah, let's mix up.
So, at least for me, this has been an interesting week because I didn't have a voice majority of the week.
Yeah, crazy.
Majority of the week, I didn't go live on Monday. I didn't go live on Tuesday. I didn't go live on Wednesday. I hardly did any kind of content. I have no voice. But I actually one fun thing I did. I practice what I preach, right? So if I'm saying, hey, AI is supposed to help us with our content, well, I have no voice. So what can AI do for me, right? So I did something fun, like just grab my phone, tripod, not pretend, I didn't have a voice, show different places where I didn't have a voice. And so I lost my voice. Great, my main way of creating content, and it's gone. I talk so much about AI, but can it actually help me?
Let me try.
I have mentioned 11 Labs before and used it a few times. Can it help me now?
I don't know.
Well, it just did. This whole voiceover was done with AI. Did you notice? Be honest. and like me going into 11 Labs using, because they have this new feature. What is it? Professional voice. I don't know. They have a new professional voice cloning. There it is. Right. Where the first tier, you just like clone the voice, but the second tier, which is the creator tier, you can professionally get it done. And when I tell you, it's kind of impressive.
Solid.
Yeah. It got a lot of people. If you go in my comments, they're like, yo, I could have never, like, if you didn't say anything, I wouldn't have known that was that. So 11 Labs, you're doing your thing. And I may have to use you for some other thing, because now I'm instantly thinking about if the voice is dope, then I also got Hey Jen, which like clones you, and then I could create community content. I don't necessarily see myself making public content too often, because authenticity and realness still is needed on my profile, at least, and really to most people. But for community content, email, stuff like that, type some things out, get Hey Jen and 11 Labs to do it. That's good. Yeah, it sounded crazy. Maybe Isaiah could drop it real quick, pause this video, or I'll give it to Eddie to pause the video and audio, hear it, so you know what I'm talking about. But it was really, it was awesome. Impressive. It was.
Yeah.
So if y'all haven't cloned your voice, I know some people are scared, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great for y'all. But I'm not. So 11 Labs is that tool. That wasn't what the lesson that I want to learn, but I was just sharing a really dope thing that I did. Now, I watched, did you see on Netflix Voice of Fire?
Mm-mm.
So, shout out to Pharrell. Can we, hold on.
Thanks.
Let me clap it up to Pharrell, because what isn't this man doing? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, no, for real.
So he executive produced this Netflix series. He just announced having a Lego animated biopic. He's like head of Louis Vuitton. He did a Montclair collection. Like, what is this man not doing? He still kills it in the music situation. So shout out to Pharrell. Now, what Voices of Fire is really dope, because it's like a competition for gospel singers, right? They're making a choir, which I believe Pharrell actually used in his like albums and things like that, and some of his songs. But they showed the making of the actual choir, and it was in Norfolk, Virginia. And so, which is wild, because nothing really happens in Hampton Roads, but Pharrell is making more things, like Something in the Water, was the festival. There's a lot of more entrepreneurship stuff happening here. For those who don't know, I do live in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area. So it was crazy to see that he created like a reality TV competition here in Hampton Roads. But this is what I loved about it. One, there was so much diversity in there, because when you think of choir, you instantly think Black people, right?
Right.
They made sure they had white people, they had Filipino, they had mix, they had pretty much everybody. Disabled. They had a chick who could only hear from one ear. They had a dude that only had one arm. They had somebody who literally lost their life, came back. The storylines that they created for this choir was amazing, right? So the thing that popped out was, one, Pharrell is extremely good at using his platform to show good, meaning to show good of a city, a state that doesn't necessarily get love, besides the few entertainers that have done amazing, right? No downplay on them, including himself, but he wanted to show more of what the city does, right? So he uses his platform for that. He uses his platform to spread more about his beliefs, right? He uses his platform to share his art. This is where, like, yo, I'm in a good spot. Let me put everything that I believe and that I represent on. Let's do that, right? So to see that particular series happen from, just people trying out, hearing their stories, seeing all the inclusion that happens and kind of the final product, it was just wholesome. It was just wholesome stuff. And I'm like, and like I said, Pharrell's like extremely undefeated right now. Like there's nothing that this dude is doing wrong. So yeah, shout out to Pharrell. Shout out to those people who watch the series. If you haven't watched the series, it's just really good and wholesome. So yeah, Voices of Fire. I think that's what it's called. Voices. And they're coming. He was like, yo, we're doing an album and everything. So
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was fire. It's fire. Now, I will say, there's this new series that I want to watch, which is called Griselda, which is based off of a drug lord situation. So more shoot 'em up, bang bang stuff. Okay,
On the way.
Is number one on the charts right now on Netflix. So
Yeah.
Best believe I'm going to watch. I don't know why I love drug lord stuff. Why? Don't know. I have
Past
no
life.
clue. I lived the
Past life situation.
No, I don't past life.
It's like in another lifetime. You was, you know what I'm saying? You was out here
there
with
has to be
moves.
like a real deep meaning of why Nicky loves mafia and drug lord stuff. That it excites me. I don't know why. It's just I'm like, yeah, I'm telling my girl, like, yo, we're gonna watch this. She's like, of course, another drug lord thing. I'm like, yeah.
Here it comes again.
Yeah, we can learn so much. They survived this much and made so much. How? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I do got a question for you. Got a question.
Okay.
So, and this may be, this probably won't be an after show thing, but it may continue. I don't know yet, right? So, slight plug, patreon.com/Nicky and Moose. Just go to Patreon, type in Nicky and Moose, join our Patreon for $4 a month. That's like 13 cents a day. If you really rock with us, if you're listening to it right now, watching us, go join Patreon. You feel me? But, have you been noticing the shift of content?
I have.
Before I set it up,
Yeah.
without me saying anything, what have
Yeah.
you noticed?
So I realized that, and I don't know if it's just my sentiment about the platforms or what's going on, but I feel that people are not engaged in the same type of content that they were, usually into before. I can't like put my finger on it, but I just feel like they really want the real, raw, uncut emotion and update of what's happening. They don't want too much of, I don't know, animated, highly produced, whatever the case may be. So that's one thing that's super sticking out right now. But in some cases, I'm also seeing that the highly produced, especially stories, are also taking off. So, and I think we both follow this gentleman. Is it Ricardo? I forget his name, but
Roberto?
I know like Roberto. There we go.
Yeah.
So his videos, I mean, every time he does something like the one where he was like talking to his younger self and all this stuff, I'm like, dude, absolutely crushing it with highly produced storytelling. But I think between that and just real raw uncut, that's where I'm noticing is the shift right now.
Oh, that's a fact. So yeah, so I was pulling up his account right now. So that's the thing I actually want to talk about, like how everything kind of repeats itself. So if you don't know, Isaiah's probably gonna put it on the screen as far as Roberto's video, but what we've been seeing lately and what I think is going to take a lot of weight from people is, before it was extremely highly produced content, the flashes, the sound effects, the overlays and everything like that. And you were like, yo, how am I going to keep up to it? Even if for me, I'm like, okay, I can't do all that. I like sound effects though. I like the sound design situation. The flashiness and changing my backgrounds and everything, I'm not with that. Now, pop up of a GIF, a random movie clip, all day, cool. But what a lot of creators, and I think when there is too much of something, there is going to be a shift quicker than we think. So people grabbing their phones again is something that people are seeing great results in. Just going straight in, not even no necessarily zooms in, zoom outs anymore, are doing amazing. As long as it's, but what I'm noticing is longer content are starting to get a lot of love.
Good point. Yeah.
So it's not
That's a good point.
7 seconds, 10 seconds. It's really starting to be 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, so pay attention. I'm not going to go too long on this. It may continue in after show, it may not, but pay attention to what is happening, and it will always go back to the foundation of just hitting record and saying your message, showing what you're doing, because that is what people really really relate to. And I think that's what happened, where when you do all the flashy things and when other people try to do it, it's not relatable now. I can't, it's too much happening. Whoa, you got my attention, but do I really retain it is the question. Now people are asking and wanting relatable content to be able to retain it. So pay attention, people. Pay attention. Anyways, we got a new creator of the week. Air horn again. This one is Logan Robles. I think it says Robles, Robles. If I said it wrong, I apologize. He is a streamer. He has been catching my attention on TikTok for a minute. And the reason why is because of how he literally shows his vlogs in a very, even though it's not the flashiness that we were talking about, it's very quick, fast cuts of his whole day. So he'll show the coffee, he'll show getting into his Tesla, he'll show streaming, he'll show, but then sometimes he'll just talk to the camera, show his desk, talk to the camera. Like, the way that he's learned how to show his day in a very interesting way is so dope. And he literally, because of the way he does that, gets brand deals to go to CES from phone companies, from more tech companies. It's just really dope to see. This is not an example. This is one of his videos that also caught my attention, just from a simple message.
Stop putting yourself in a box and start creating the videos that you actually want to make. I get it, certain videos get more views than others, but let me ask you a very simple question. Why stop innovating? You got to this point because you tried new things and figured out what worked. You need to constantly reinvent yourself and make the people interested in whatever you're interested in.
So, yeah, Logan is dope. I just like in watching his videos. Young creator. Go check him out. I think hold on, let me get his, I didn't even get his handle. No, his handle is Logan L. Robles, Robles, on all platforms. And he's just fire. Moose, did you know of this creator? I'm excited.
I did. I've seen this stuff on TikTok.
Hey, come on.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, low key TikTok, like I said, has been my favorite platform. It's funny, and I'm thinking back to the comment that you made about longer content. I don't know why there's some, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, some pretty meaningless videos on TikTok that run 2-3 minutes, and you're just sitting there like, all right, so what's gonna happen? And
right.
And I don't know, there's so many of them, and people are really good at, you know what I'm saying, putting that up. So I think that's why I'm spending more time over there. But no, for sure, that's amazing content from them.
Facts. I'm just doing air horns all day.
A lot of air horns today.
You know what I mean? But let's get into the meat and potatoes of things. This topic is near and dear to my heart. I'm not going to lie. In 2024, we have said repeatedly in this podcast the importance of building a community. Now, top influencer that we've definitely talked about on this podcast has made a huge investment to a platform called Skool, Skool, right? Which is a community building platform. Now, this is interesting, at least to me, because he is, of course, we know Alex Hormozi is huge, successful, acquisition.com, amazing webinars, that whole nine. But why would you invest in a brand new startup that deals with building communities? So we got a clip on one of his recent trainings for Skool, because he literally announced this like 2 weeks ago and then started doing videos quickly. So I want to break down this.
Consuming content and you've been on the internet, you're looking at social media, and you've been trying to figure out what business to start, you don't need to look any further. This is it. You can start a Skool community. Now, this is something we've been working on for a long time, and you're going to want to hear the whole thing because you're going to be able to win a lot of prizes and make a lot of money. The first of these prizes by participating in the Skool games is flying out to Vegas with 10 other business owners who crushed the Skool games and spending a full day here with me so we can take your business from where it is to wherever you want to go. We'll have leaderboards that will rank everyone in real time to see who is making the most money on the Skool platform. Now, the reason that starting a group on Skool is one of the easiest businesses, or if not the easiest business that you can start today, is a couple reasons. One is that most businesses require startup capital. This one doesn't. You can start for free, you can use free tools on the internet. All right, number one. Number two is that you don't need inventory, so you don't have to worry about logistics or supply chain or drop shipping or any of that kind of stuff. Number three is that you don't need to hire other people in order to make this business work. So if you're alone on your own, you're a solopreneur, you're just getting started, you can start making money on the internet using this without anything else.
So the conversation I want to have is the business of having an online community, right? Because now that Alex Hormozi is pretty much the spokesperson of Skool, there has to be a huge business side that maybe in the past we were not paying attention to, where we were just, okay, we got to get people off social media. But now we got to pay attention to this. At least I feel like we do. Moose, what was your thoughts on the announcement 2 weeks ago of him investing in Skool, and then kind of your thoughts on the business side of online communities that maybe not many people talk about?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the acquisition itself made sense, right? It's a software education tool, if you were to call it that, right? Or a membership I mean, and I haven't used it exclusively, but I saw a course that was housed in there once. So it's like, think of a learning management software with / membership site and community space, right? Like all in one place for that. So I think the acquisition makes sense. And that's why it didn't catch me by surprise. He's been looking for that alignment, and then it keeps building there. The one thing that jumped out at me though, and it kind of just reiterated the point, because you talked about how much we've touched on the importance of community on the podcast, but also the importance of the brand business cycle. And what I mean by that is, because he's in the space, I mean, that transition or pivot happened so quick that I think that's why it was so effective. And it really caught my attention when other people started running ads to talk about his move. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if you saw it, but there was an ad. It was like an X, what is that called? An X post or X thread, whatever it is. Someone who was running an ad breaking down essentially Hermosi's acquisition of school. I was like, that's kind of a big deal. Like when you're now getting other content creators to run ads on their content talking about you and what you just did, right? Essentially that he was doing. So I was okay. I get what the guy's trying to do is like maybe capitalizing off the moment, but all in all, the pivot and everything happened so quickly simply because he was in that mode of building the brand. And we talk about that cycle. When you have the voice, it's easy to leverage and transition into a business model, and people will follow you there. So I think that's obviously another great benefit that I was reminded of from what he did there. But from a business side, I mean, I've talked about the importance, and this is probably, I think, my thought around why he did it, other than the fact that there is a software component tied to it. The other piece here is reoccurring revenue. I think a lot of the industry right now is going to go away from possibly even high ticket, or if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen on Front Street like that. But there's going to be such a great focus on ways that help to establish reoccurring revenue. And that's why you're hearing that conversation come up, or, and we'll jump into it a little bit here later about, okay, what is a community and what is a membership? And how can we utilize those two differently? But essentially it's, how do we push more forth, or how do we put more value toward the client or the consumer so that we can retain them for as long as possible and build off of reoccurring revenue? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take long as a business owner to start realizing that one of the biggest challenges of running a business is when the month rolls over and you have to start back at zero from a revenue standpoint, regardless of how much work you've done. So you could have crushed it last month. You've done great. Okay, awesome. But then the 30th or 31st comes around, things roll over, and then you're back at zero. And you have to build back up, to start bringing in revenue. Now imagine in this case, this is essentially what reoccurring community membership opportunities, or let's call them products, help you to do, is that either on the first or whatever which way you process your billing, you start the month plus in the green, essentially. You're starting with some form of drop. So imagine starting every single month at 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. And that's just on a small scale. And it could be a lot higher, obviously. But I think when you enter that space, it's a completely different game. And I believe it's also a lot more relevant to today's times, because people are wanting to be serviced differently, and the reoccurring membership or community aspect allows for that to happen, at least for those who do it really well. So I think it's, from a business side, that's how I see the need or why it's happening. But I love it, man. I mean, I talked about it a little bit maybe late last year when I said, man, MRR is that term to get familiar with, monthly reoccurring revenue or reoccurring revenue, however you want to see it. But that's a big direction that the industry is headed in right now.
Mm-hmm. If I was just to assume why this happened, of course, we are in a era of creators. So one of the biggest problems that creators have is, how do you monetize what you create? right? Well, how do you monetize the art that you create? How do you monetize the influence that you've gained? How do you do that, right? And there's so many different things. And since he has fully embraced the creator side of him, he's like, you know what? It only makes sense. Now, there are other platforms, which I'll get into later, that pretty much do the same thing, right? Because really, all this is a platform that will allow you to have a community and put your courses in. You break it down to a skeleton of things. It is just that. However, this was a great move from school, because what startups are starting to do is attach themselves to influencers who can then speak on their behalf and bring an audience to them, right? There were so many people who went to school, literally the platform, not the thing, who went to school just because Alex Hormozi said it, right? Because he is the guy when it comes to entrepreneurship right now. He is the guy to pay attention to. So, and what's cool about the clip that we played was he's gamifying his influence as well, right? So for those core people that love Alex Hormozi, it's saying, hey, I'm going to fly out 10 people who have the biggest community. For those people who don't necessarily have the money to book Alex Hormozi, go to one of his events, whatever it is. I don't think he has events, but you know what I mean. They're going to do this. They're like, Alex said this. This is where startups are leaning on influence. So I'm trying to find the school games, because there is, here we go. The school games, which is the gamify community that he actually created, which is going to have leaderboards. This is what will make people want to start an online community. One, you're going to show me how to. Two, I'm somewhat being accountable for doing it, because now there's leaderboards. So I found that really dope. Literally, there's 6.3K members in that school games field, right? So I wanted to break down my conspiracy of why this may have happened, because I do believe he's just like, yo, if I'm talking about entrepreneurship, I'm talking about building businesses, and I do believe in creators. Let me acquire a community software, because Circle's already taken, Mighty Network is already taken, Kajabi's taken. You know what? What's the next up and coming thing? And school has been talked about on TikTok for a little bit from other creators. It's been making its rounds. So I do believe school is very strategic with, let me connect. If my audience is creators, let me connect with creators, get them to build this thing. Now, what I'm hearing is that it's a 14-day trial, but then it's like $99 a month, which is pretty much the basic of majority of platforms like this. Because what they're trying to do is saying, hey, create a free community, learn how to upsell and make some money from it, and then you get to pay us when you're making money. So I'm not mad at that. Now, for 14 days to build everything, cool. Now, I saw this tweet that I sent to Moose, and I was like, oh, we got to talk about this. And it goes more on community versus memberships. Okay. So let's break down, when we think about community, period, I can break down in a very simple standpoint of getting people off social media into a central location. All like-minded people in one central location. I didn't say any extra videos. I didn't say anything like that. You are bringing people into one spot. where a membership, this is where exclusive content comes into. But he pretty much said that I've noticed 95% of paid communities are dead. Rest in peace. There's something new taking its place. Memberships are the new internet community. Let me explain. When 2020 hit, the world moved to internet communities. So Facebook groups skyrocketed to 1 billion active users. Discord hit 15 billion valuation. All these great things, right? But naturally, people wanted to monetize these communities, pay us a monthly fee, and get access to the community. So not access necessarily to new content or anything, just access to the space, get inside of the room. So everybody was selling a paid community. Money was flowing until it wasn't. So he breaks down the difference between, community and membership. So what's the difference? Let's break it down. A paid community is paying for access to a community. A team is usually a community manager or a founder plus a community manager. A membership includes things like a community, a paid newsletter, a discount and deals, in real life events, software, job boards, digital assets. And the team is usually founders, community members, content team, product team. So he's breaking all of this down, and I will put it in the show notes as far as this full tweet. But the biggest thing that he said was a community is a product, not the product. Okay, let me do. And so where we look at, yes, each brand, each one of us should have a community. It grows more into what is the experience. When I look at that, and there was a graph a picture that he gave with that, where it just shows like community, and then it showed membership and everything that broke down. One is, okay, we're here now what? Now you're breaking it down into the experience that you're giving. Now that I'm here, I'm getting access to this. I'm watching this. I'm going through these different challenges. I'm going through this. And the more value that you add, the more that you can charge your membership. Now, what I want to ask you is, what, based off the communities that you've seen, not who, but what are some good business models from a community side, and what are some bad business models from a community side?
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite part, and I'm going to answer the question directly here in a second, but my favorite part about the concept of how to differ in the way you label and name your products between just a community and a membership is the tangible aspect that you include, right? Like when he said software, templates, resources, there's something tangible there that people can grasp onto to help them implement the education. Where in the community space, the idea is more about access. Mm-hmm. It's, okay, I'm with you on the calls, we get to hang out. Like, I hate to say it this way, but I'm paying you to be my friend, but I get to also meet, I get to also meet a lot of really cool people, at the same time. So there's a way to network as part of that. Now, I can tell you why this worked really well. And when you talk about, well, what was a good way from a business standpoint? The reason why communities worked really well dating up to 2020, even a little bit after, it's because it allowed you to separate the people who were really about it from those who wanted to pretend, right? Mm. So for the most part, especially as high tickets started to increase, as the ticket got higher, more people fell out, and you got the core group of people in the room together to really sit down and mastermind. And I think that's where a lot of those really great relationships are forged, to then open up opportunity for collaboration and partnership and a lot of these other things that we talk about. You really don't get the chance to do them until you have access to such rooms. And that's why that model was so successful for a long time, right? That's where communities were successful for a long time. But now, as people are starting to realize that, okay, I'm not just interested in meeting and connecting. And again, by no way am I trying to downplay the importance of relationships, but I just think with the way AI has accelerated so quickly over the last 6 months, you don't need to go to people for basic education anymore.
Yes.
You can get it within your fingertips. You can get, some of the most high level things, even from what your favorite influencer or thought leader would have said in his book, right through AI. It's like, what did so-and-so say about this in his book? And you don't have to read the book, and you're going to get it in less than a minute. Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of the reason why you're starting to see a decline in community. And then people are looking for, well, what's that real tangible thing that you're going to give me that is going to go beyond just being on a call with you or just meeting and building relationship with you? So not many people can pull off the community model anymore, for that reason. So that's kind of where I'm seeing, those pros and cons of both sides.
Yeah. There's one thing that he said in the tweet where it's like, the memberships that outperform have two things in common: a strong identity, which is part of something, rallying behind a mission, and then people who are trying to get from point A to point B. A transition needs to occur. I'll say a transformation has to occur as well, right? Mm-hmm. If we, and this is something that I'm working on right now with Deeper Than the Brand, where from when you think about social media and the content that we have to put out to have brand awareness, you're 9 out of 10 times going to attract majority of beginners, some people who are in the middle, and then people like a small percentage who may be advanced, right? Your ideal client. Now, when it comes to a membership, I'm thinking about different tiers, and this is just being transparent about Deeper Than the Brand. Now we're thinking about different tiers to get that transition / transformation for those people who are just starting, to then get more into the middle, right? What is the experience that you get with that? What is more things that is being unlocked? What more courses can you get? What more calls can you get? That whole nine. Then from an advanced thing, how are you unlocking the real life, the real life events where we have our mastermind and that whole nine. And I'm realizing that from a stacking up these different types of value situations is where people will understand the price point. If you just give them a community and here are some videos, it doesn't make sense. We made I was having a conversation with one of the team members, and I was like, yo, in the past, well, they said this, shout out to Candace. She said this, like, yo, what was created before was like a buffet. And I think a lot of people possibly made this wrong mistake as well, where you have all these videos and you go, you know what, let's package this up, call it something, there you go, right? Not really being intentional with the transformation, where they're trying to go. So you're now putting a price point on just the value of the videos, not necessarily the value of what they're going to get from the videos or where you're trying to lead them, right? So it goes more of, are you trying to be the buffet, or are you trying to be the 5-star Michelin restaurant, right? Yep. Where you go specifically for the beef Wellington, right? And it's fire, where you get maybe a certain size of the beef Wellington from the buffet, but because of it has everything else, it doesn't hit as well. It's like it's good, but actually I'll pay more to go to the restaurant to get the beef Wellington over there. It's the same thing how you structure your community, your online community / membership. It's the same way how you structure it. Are you gathering a whole bunch of videos, templates, everything like that, putting it together and saying, here? Or are you saying, yo, for this particular experience, this is what you're going to get. This is what it's going to take you. This is how you're going to experience it. And this is the price point. And you're like, okay, I understand. And everybody has, of course, when you're looking at it from a pricing standpoint, everybody has their own budget. The economy that we're in right now, this is why we are seeing a lower price point when it comes to courses and experiences and things like that, because financially, we just not there as a nation anymore. It's just where it is. So you're seeing a lot more. What I'm noticing in this trend is that there are people who are charging 100, 150, 250 for courses that are feeling like $5,000 worth of content.
Yeah.
I'm in one right now. Shout out to Steven. Was talking about like the automation of creator. Such a really good course that should be worth probably $2,000 to $3,000. Bought it for $250. Now, but what that brings is whatever he drops next, I'm buying it. But what I feel that he didn't necessarily do, or maybe I didn't join it. You're right. But this is what's good about school, is that he did a course on Thinkific, but did a community on Discord. Where if you can have your course and your community in one spot, the upselling that you do afterwards is going to be seamless. So though you may have multiple in a tech stack, right? Which we were supposed to talk about. We'll talk about another time. But in your tech stack, when it comes to your audience, your community members, you may have multiple things where you have a course platform, you have a community platform, you have an email system, you have all these different things. But your audience, your customer, has to have multiple touch points where you're going to disconnect from them. And it won't be such an easy upsell as if you find a platform like school, platform like, let's say, Circle, to where everything is kind of wrapped into one. This is why one of the most popular platforms was like Kajabi. Kajabi was known for having, you could do your website, you could do your courses, you could do your email, everything in one, but it was like mad expensive, right? To where now the other platforms that compared to school is a Mighty Networks, is a Circle, and you're looking at that like, it's a lot cheaper, or I could do a lot more to that. Now, I personally want to try school. I may open one just to see what's the difference, because I love community platforms, right? I love that vibe. However, for anybody who is trying to build a community, whether it's free to paid, or whether it's a paid community, and I'll break that down a little bit, look at the different platforms and see exactly what you need. Not need right now, need for the future. Because your budget is going to make you need Discord. But what your brand and how you want to scale it may need another type of platform. I'm not saying which one. I'm just saying there are different things. If And like I said, there's different ways to create a community, from a paid one, which is pretty much to get into the community, to get into the courses, to get all that, you got to pay it. There's a fee. It's either a monthly fee or a flat fee, however you want to go about it. We are fans of reoccurring revenue. So subscription based is probably what we're going to say, right? Now you have the free to pay. The free to pay is where you bring everybody in for free, do a free community. This is where you think of it like a free leads. These are leads. When they come into your community, you now have their email. You now have their information. These are leads that then, since they're in a central location, all the other things that you are selling, they are going to be a part of. So that's a free to pay type community. And then, of course, you just have a free community that is just there because you love them and you're giving back, and the value side of things. So I'm talking a lot. I'm rambling because, I love community. But look at the different platforms, school being one, because it's just trendy right now. Mighty Networks and Circle, Kajabi, I believe they have communities now, but I'm not really sure. No, they did, because they acquired a community platform. So Kajabi has community now. Look at those platforms, see what fits how you envision your brand and your way of scaling an online community, and then pick a community style and then run with it.
Where does the use of or implementation of AI tools play into, some of the membership side of things? Because, as he noticed, or as he mentioned in that tweet, the idea of utilizing software or, and I could see maybe, I don't know if the right word is to call them a chat bot or whatnot, but I can see something like that being a tool that is a part of some form of membership. But I'm curious, just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so majority of platforms now have AI features, right? So, for example, Mighty Networks, I believe Mighty Networks, Circle, and Kajabi literally have where it can set up your whole community. Like everything from courses to community spaces, tiers, it literally could do everything. Also from a written standpoint of what do you say? What are some of the posts that you're going to do? Now, as far as what the community members or the clients, or however you want to label them, how they're going to experience the AI side of things, you can create certain things that are part of your value stack that comes from AI. Like you could create your own GPT and that the community only has access to, right? There are certain websites now that allows you to clone your knowledge, and it's literally a chat bot, like you said, and it'll be a constant Q&A. Mm-hmm. So that's some of the ideas that I think when it comes to AI, but that's just me. I lost my voice. This is literally the first time that I'm really talking, so it is what it is. Kind of last question from this topic. You've been in multiple platforms when it comes to building a community, right? Like I said, I'll probably try school and kind of report back to see what it is. So I don't want to intelligently say which one's better or which one's not, what is all the different features. But for you, what are some features that you look for in a platform?
Yeah. So number one is a dashboard. I think a dashboard, and this can vary. There are some front-end dashboards, back-end dashboards. Back-end dashboards, think of them as an opportunity to see what is happening in your business at a snapshot. So if we're talking memberships and reoccurring revenue, then I want to see how many active members, how many have canceled, how many have failed payments, right? Like those are metrics that we're constantly tracking. The revenue, it's pretty easy because you're just doing however many people in the community times the dollar amount. Unless you have varying subscription levels, then that's a different story. But for the most part, for me, number one is always a dashboard, because data is the best way I like to, scoreboard how the business is performing or how things are going. Then there's always a consumer side or a client facing dashboard that allows them to feel more engaged. It gives them a sense of hope and accomplishment. It really gamifies the experience for them, like you said. And so those are two things that I'm often looking for. We have something. They're not all native in one platform. I forget the name of the platform that we use for our subscriptions with Extreme Execution, but it gives us a back-end data and dashboard that is really, really helpful. And now we're starting to think about, okay, now how do we start pulling some of these elements that we've put into the portal? For example, on the flight assessment side, how do we start revealing them? So we actually built the tool with certain pockets in it already for the gamification or for just that dashboard feature down the line, but we just haven't revealed it yet. So it's like still covered. So it's in the code, but it's not out and live. So now we're starting to reveal and make some of those adjustments to bring it back out. But I would say just for one, the first thing to me is the dashboard. I think that's such a cool element because it lets everyone know where they are, where they've been, where they're going. And I think that's a good feature for a lot of people.
Yeah. For me, I'll say one thing that I'm searching for more than just what do I need. I'm gonna go with searching for and then what do I need. I need a really good gamification one. Mm-hmm. Not just leaderboards, right? Like leaderboards are cool, but like really something that if you post, you get certain points and there's like a notification of that. If you upload a video, like it rewards you or it acknowledges you in some way, shape, or form. If you connect and follow other members, what are you doing with that, right? So something that is more gamified than necessarily having quizzes part of the videos or a leaderboard of who's the most active. That's all cool. But sometimes those leaderboards, if you stay, depending on how it's configured, if it doesn't reset, those things can be, the leader could be the leader for the whole year. And you're like, get it. I don't,
Yeah.
you don't pay me. I actually paid y'all. I actually pay y'all.
It's no more of a competition. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I was just thinking too, and when you said that, and sorry to cut you off, but
no, you did.
It's like imagine designing your own algorithm that helps people to get feedback on their content, regardless of the vanity metrics on social. So it's like you're getting like a content coach about the piece of content that you just created. I thought that might be pretty cool too. Yeah.
My whole. I've been okay. So this is a combo, probably. No, well, we talked about it. We talked about it last week with the gamify. I'm just really in this whole gamify situation with the community. If you make it fun, they will stay, they will engage, they will up their level, they will sign in every single day or time from time more than what they were doing before. So if a platform can figure out, and they're supposedly saying school has more of a gamify side of it. If that's the case, we're gonna look. So, people, I'll say this. I don't know what I'm calling it yet, but probably by the time you're hearing this, there is a free school community that I'm creating. There may be a link in the description. There may not. I'm not sure yet. So just check it. Just check. If not, we're going to do it for the next week. We're going to test this platform out and see if it's real or not, especially from a gamified thing. Now, things that I look for One, the emphasis of community, right? Because I do need it to make sure that it feels more like a safe place than just a platform of I can put my courses in. Two, an internal communication. So not only do you see the messages, but it also sends an email. So multiple ways that you know what's happening inside of the community. So that's another thing. 3, live videos, a live stream in some way, shape, or form. On top of that, uploading videos. That's very important. A bonus one is if you allow me to do audio notes. Sometimes I don't want to do a video. Sometimes I just want to send you an audio. At least in the DMs. Let me do that, right? So those are, and then analytics. Let me see what's happening inside of my community. That's very clear. So those are some of the things that I look for. Oh, payment plans. Payment plans. Flexibility of the payment structure of how people come into your community. Whether it is straight up monthly subscription, annual subscription, whether it is paying every 3 months, right? Paying every 6 months, whatever it is, just of the flexibility.
Yeah.
And I would love a pay what you want situation. I would love a pay what you want situation. If school does a pay what you want situation, they just may get me. We gonna see. We gonna see. Pay what you want situation. Circle. I've tried Circle. I'm on Mighty Networks for Deeper Than the Brand. Shout out to Deeper Than the Brand. deeperthanthebrand.com. Please go check that out. Thank you very much. We have the AI toolkit. Slight plug. But we've done Facebook groups. I can't stand Facebook groups because you don't necessarily own it. You get all the notifications from Facebook, and so you'll get distracted. So you deal with their algorithm. You don't really own that audience, right? I've been in Discord servers. So I've done pretty much every type of community. But if you could do a pay what you want, I would appreciate that. I'd appreciate that.
That's dope.
I appreciate that. But let us know, one, do you have a community, or do you plan on having a community, an online community this year? Second, are you going more towards the model of just a community or a membership? And then, if you are on our Patreon, go a little bit more in detail with how are you building your membership so we could possibly help you out with some feedback. So go do that. So, I want to do something different for question of the week. We have questions of the week. Questions. All right. So first, of course, this segment is sponsored by flightassessment.com. Discover your personal superpower. Learn how to use your superpower to become a master communicator, strengthen all your relationships, and develop the awareness, the self-awareness you need to fulfill your highest potential. Flightassessment.com. So I got some fun questions because the people want to know more about us, which I always find very weird. But if you've listened to this long, you kind of like us. Okay? You kind of like us.
You deserve it.
Yeah. So, I got some questions. Really random ones. Shout out to Isaiah who suggested us to do this. And we each gonna answer this. We got 5 questions off top. First one. If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Like, can it be a category? Because like you could give me Mexican food all day, every day. I'm built.
You do this all the time. You're like, you try to milk it.
This is how my brain thinks. Yeah,
No, it's food. Now the food can have like toppings, right? Like this is the foundation, but if you can add this to it, I can eat this for the rest of my life, right? I'll allow that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say rice and beans. Honestly, like I could have rice and beans 3 times a day with different types of protein. Like I'm cool with that. But yeah, that's why I love. We go to Moe's a lot. We got a Moe's right over here. We go to Moe's a lot. I go to
Moe's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to the rice and beans crew.
Okay. For me, I'm torn. I'm always going to be the torn one. It's either Chinese food, beef and broccoli with white rice. I eat that every day, multiple times a day if I wanted to, right? Or because another one popped in my head, like, but I'm not going to do that. Butter noodles with shrimp.
I was not expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe Wawa. I thought, something like...
You're going based off the things that I have done. That I've been very
I've seen
vocal.
You like literally eat those things every day. So yeah.
I can eat Wawa. They didn't say a place. They didn't say place.
Fair.
I can eat Wawa every single day. I can. But they said food. 2, what is a hidden talent or weird skill you have that most people don't know about?
Man, I really don't have any. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think it's pretty funny that I can snowboard as a kid from Egypt. Like that to me is
that's good. There you go.
Yeah, that to me is pretty hidden, I guess, or rare.
Yeah, there you go.
It's rare.
I would say, depending on when you were introduced to me, you may know, you may not. I used to box.
Nicole Energizer Bunny Saunders.
So, them hand skills are different. Are different, people. I'll just say that. We left that alone. But that's that skill. If you can have a conversation with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? Doesn't matter?
Dead or alive. Dead or alive. Historical.
I mean, not really historical. It depends on who you ask, but I'm just going to go with somebody who I've always talked about, but Derek Jeter is probably still one of the...
He's in a museum, probably.
Yeah,
if he's in a museum, historical.
He's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, so he's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but no, Derek Jeter definitely is still somebody I'll be like, yeah, let's chat for a little bit.
Yeah, y'all all know my answer. It's going to be Nipsey. He's in the museum. We went to DC. We saw his chains. We saw his fit. My man. Yep, he made history. I'm here for it all. What's a popular trend you absolutely can't stand or secretly love? Can't stand or secretly love.
I don't know why. My mind just keeps going back to the Clubhouse days. Like I wanted to like fight Clubhouse.
Oh my God.
I was like, no, I'm not. I couldn't stand it at first, but then I started to warm up to it and I just started to understand the importance of, being an early adopter on platforms, period.
Yeah.
But just what comes to mind right now is definitely the one that I was not open to at all was Clubhouse.
Okay. One that I'm secretly in love with, I'll say, is that one that it starts with I am. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm a music producer. And then you've seen those. Right. It's like, I'm a music producer. Of course I sample beats. I'm a music producer. I'm like I love those ones for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not gonna do one, but it's so dope to see, and it's so, I don't know, entertaining for me. Now, last one. Tell us about a time something went hilariously wrong during a live event, recording, meeting, live stream, whatever.
Okay. So when I started my hospitality business, I had to conduct a lot of interviews because we were a staffing company and space in New York City was very expensive. So the first couple of months in the business, I was doing interviews in random coffee shops. Shout out to Joe and the Juice in Soho, because that's just where it was, right? And then essentially as we upped our game a little bit, I started to conduct interviews in WeWork. And the WeWork was, of course, it's a community space, you know, a bunch of shared offices. So I'm doing an interview with a group of people, actually. There's multiple people in the room. And randomly, a dog enters the room. Kid you not, the dog poops in the freaking conference room. And I was just like, what? Like, what do I do? And sure enough, one of the girls that was at the interview got up and says, oh, this is totally normal. I have a dog. This happens all the time. And found something to pick it up, cleaned it out.
Wow.
And we resumed the meeting. But that was one of the most, like, holy cow, what the heck is going on moments that that I've ever experienced. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. For me, well, I found this. Well, a lot of people did too. So I was on live on Instagram, and this is probably one of the main reasons why I don't bring too many people on my lives anymore. Or any, really, to be honest. So I was on live getting questions from people, bringing them up. Cool, right? So there was this guy, and we call him like the cowboy guy, right? When I tell you the most awkward but funny situation. So as you probably heard, because I said I have a girl, I'm like gay, okay? I don't go for that side. But he was like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're so great. Let me make sure you are my princess, my queen, my everything. I was like, what is happening? But I do videos. Let me show you my videos. Oh, queen, I love you. I want to show you the world. Blah, blah. I was like, thank you.
What's the content question, my friend?
Right. I just want
to know
because I think he just want to. I just want to love on you. You're just great. I just want to show you and give you your flowers, queen. And I was like, okay, thank you, because anytime that happens, I'm like, oh, thank you, great. This one was live, and I was just like,
yeah, no running away from that.
I don't know what. Everybody's dying in the comments, dying. They're like, bruh, not for you. Stop, leave it alone. Like, but he would come back in the comments and like next couple of lives saying the same stuff. I didn't bring him back up. He kept requesting. I was said, absolutely not. We're not doing that. So, no.
Dang.
No.
Yeah.
But
moments.
Yeah. So those were our random questions of the week. So before I continue to die, do us a favor. One, Patreon. Head over to our Patreon. Shout out to everybody who's joining, especially the Creator Ave tier. But go check out our Patreon. We're asking Calvin asked, and we may have to do this in the after show. He asked a question, but I didn't understand it. But we're going to talk about it anyways. He was like, how to market attention without being spammy and become the person you are attracting. I guess what I'm saying is when you build a global brand and finding your franchise player to work alongside with you. I feel like it's a loaded question. It was like two different things, but this is the conversation that we're having inside of Patreon. Got a chat going on. It's a vibe. So patreon.com/Nicky and Moose, or just go and just search us at Nicky Moose. Follow us on all social media platforms, especially YouTube. Thank you, and thank you. What's happening in the extreme execution side?
Nothing on the extreme execution right now, but more in 2024 challenge with ET starting later this week at the time that you're listening to this. So yeah, tap in over there. That's going to be a good vibe for the month of February.
That's a fact. And then Deeper Than the Brand, the AI toolkit, go grab that. It's like $97 and you get lifetime access to the AI toolkit, to Deeper Than the Brand community. Go do that. But Moose, final words.
Yeah, I shared this just a couple of days ago, and I was saying that, you move different when you want to be successful and not just seen. Some of the best work that you do, no one ever really has to see. All right, so it's a different intention. Not always for the people to see. Some things just need to be under the wraps until you can't hold it back anymore. So yeah, keep that in mind.